you know that in most cases, we want the retained option, right? So when you're presenting it, how do you do it in such a way that that's the direction that you're recommending?
Um, a lot of it has to do with how badly I want to work the position.
Okay.
And or how badly I think my team should work the position versus me personally.
Okay.
If I'm pitching it and it's a high level position, or it's a low level position and it's going to be really hard to fill. I mean, all of the things that in my mind tick the boxes for why I could justify retain. I will go in after listening to everything that they tell me about the search. I will recommend to them that a retained option is the way to go. And then I will explain why I think retained is the best option under those circumstances.
Yeah.
And I will then explain to them what they get for the retained money.
Yeah.
And if I sense hesitancy, then we start a conversation about which part of this difficulty to fill thing do you disagree with? Because
Right.
really, it's the difficulty to fill that ultimately I think is going to define whether they go to retained or engaged. I mean, if any of their in-house recruiters can go on LinkedIn and pull 12 candidates, they are not going to do a retained search. And I don't want to pitch retained search for something like that. I want to pitch retained search for something that has where they want exclusivity, that time, that has urgency, and that has difficulty to fill. Those three things.
Yeah.
Or some combination of those three things.
Right.
Because if it doesn't have those three things, I'm not that excited about the search. And I learned a long time ago that I don't have to work everything. I want to work the things that I'm excited about because I'm going to do the best job about the things that I'm excited about or that prove a challenge to me or whatever. So, first we discuss urgency. How urgent is it to fill this search? And then we talk about how difficult is it going to be to find the person they want and move them to podunk in the middle of nowhere, USA.
Right.
And then we talk about what else have you tried to do to fill the search and how have your efforts gone with that, which leads to the urgency piece. And then when they've checked all three of those boxes, they're like, oh yeah, retain makes sense in this case.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't go there. And I will say, fine, look, you can have a half a step down from this, the stepchild, if you will, and we can look at an engaged. Here's what you're trading off. You won't get quite as much urgency and response. And you're not going to get quite as much exclusivity because we're not necessarily going to push candidates to your search first. But you will get something much better than contingency, which I think is what you need. Now, when they hear what they're not getting, they don't like that, right?
Yes.
And so they tend to default back. And then I say to them, well, before you make the decision, let me send you a sample of a position prospectus.
Right.
Because this comes standard with our retained search. And if you agree that this is going to be a tremendous value add because this search is going to be difficult, then I think you'll see that retained is the right option. And 90% of the time, if I can't win it on the initial call, when I go to the follow-up call after they've seen the position prospectus, they almost always revert to a retained.